Thanks very much. Please resume your seats. Chancellor of the University of Ghana, members of the University Council, Madam Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellors, Registrar, our distinguished lecturer, provosts, deans, directors, and heads of department, faculty, staff, students, and alumni, distinguished guests, our friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are happy to welcome you to the second day of the 2025 Aggrey-Fraser-Guggisberg Memorial Lecture Series, one of the most prestigious academic traditions of our university, which serves as a platform for critical dialogue on issues of national and global importance. Yesterday, our distinguished lecturer, Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah, diagnosed the problems associated with women's financial power. Today, she's set to address the topic from barriers to breakthroughs, practical solutions for women-centered financing. I believe all of us need breakthroughs, financial breakthroughs, and so we'll give her the needed attention as she delivers the lecture. For now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to invite our registrar, Mrs. Emilia J. Mensah, to make introductory and welcome remarks as we proceed with this lecture. Please join me to welcome our registrar.
Thank you very much, Director of Public Affairs, Madam Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellors.
Fostering inclusive policies, providing tailored financial products, and prioritizing women's financial needs, we build an ecosystem that benefits not only women, but the entire economy. As a leading university in Africa which remains committed to addressing national and global issues, I consider this lecture well aligned with the focus of the university and its commitment to promoting gender equality and inclusion to ensure that marginalized and underprivileged groups contribute meaningfully to national development. I suppose yesterday's lecture may just be a warm-up session to help us all understand and appreciate the barriers to women's financial empowerment. In today's lecture, which promises to be even more riveting, we will dive deeper into the conversation. After diagnosing the problem, the lecture is set to proffer bold solutions that will dismantle the barriers and revolutionize financial services so that women are not just participants but leaders within the financial sector. Although this lecture series is focused on making finance work for women, I entreat all of us, male and female, to take a keen interest in it. I dare say that if a woman is empowered financially, a family is empowered, a community is empowered, a nation is empowered, a continent is empowered, and the world is empowered. Before I take my seat, permit me to share with you a brief profile of our distinguished lecturer for this year's Aggrey-Fraser-Guggisberg lectures. Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah is a highly respected international banker with over 3 decades of experience in treasury management, strategy execution, investment, and commercial banking. A dynamic leader, she has played a pivotal role in shaping Africa's financial landscape. She currently serves as regional executive for Central, Eastern, and Southern Africa, CESA, at Ecobank Transnational, and doubles as managing director of Ecobank Kenya. Overseeing operations in 18 of the 35 African countries that the Ecobank Group operates in, she manages nearly 30% of the group's balance sheet and the second largest revenue pool. She drives strategy and business performance in one of Ecobank's most critical regions, while simultaneously leading Ecobank Kenya. Previously, Mrs. Anan-Ankomah was Group Executive for Commercial Banking, spearheading Ecobank's SME and local corporate banking strategy across 33 African markets. She is a champion for women in business, having pioneered Elevate by Ecobank, the bank's flagship and award-winning gender finance program that delivers tailored financial and non-financial solutions to women-led businesses. Her leadership journey at Ecobank has included senior roles in operations, treasury, and regional expansion, such as Chief Operating Officer for the West African Monetary Zone / East and Southern Africa, Regional Treasurer overseeing a $3 billion balance sheet, and Managing Director of Ecobank Gambia, where she positioned the bank as a market leader. And here is the sweetest part. Mrs. Anan-Ankomah holds a BA and an MBA from, guess where? The University of Ghana. She's a true alumna of this great university. And she's a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. She's deeply passionate about empowering women and founded She Blossoms, a foundation that provides financial support, educational materials, and mentorship to young girls. Beyond banking, Mrs. Anan-Ankomah is a music hobbyist who has played a key role in shaping Ghana's gospel music scene, inspiring and mentoring several talents. At home, she's outnumbered by lawyers, married to one and raising 3 more. With a household full of legal minds, she jokingly admits she's perfected the art of banking negotiations at the dinner table. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I shall now respectfully invite Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah to present part 2 of the lecture titled, Her Money, Her Power, Making Finance Work for Women, and specifically to speak on Barrier to Breakthrough, Practical Solutions to Women-Centered Financing. Enjoy the lecture.
Hello and a warm welcome and good afternoon to all of you. I can hear you. Good afternoon. Thank you. The Chancellor of the University of Ghana, members of the University Council, Madam Vice Chancellor, Vice Chancellors of all universities present, former Vice Chancellors, former Pro-Vice Chancellors, current and former registrars, Principal, Accra College of Education, special invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, I believe you would agree with me that we didn't just talk. We actually cracked the code. We dissected the barriers and held up a mirror to the financial system that continues to shortchange women. We laid bare the 10 roadblocks keeping women from stepping into true financial power. And let me tell you, the reaction was loud and clear. It wasn't just a discussion, it was a revelation. The businesswoman I spoke to afterwards said I wasn't just making a point, I was actually calling them on speed dial. I was actually dialing their number. Every issue we unpacked struck a deep familiar chord because we've all felt it. But recognizing the problem isn't enough. The financial system, as it stands today, still isn't built fully for women. Sure, we've made some progress, some tiny cracks in the glass ceiling, the occasional policy tweak here and there, but let's get real. Baby steps ain't gonna cut it when we need a revolution. We don't need another polite invitation to the table. We need to actually rewrite the rules of the game. Yesterday was about naming the problems. Today is about smashing them and creating real solutions to put financial power firmly in the hands of women. Now, let's talk big numbers. Worldwide, 1.4 billion adults have no access to formal banking, and over half are women. That's roughly 740 million women without a bank account. And having a bank account isn't a magic fix either. Even women with bank accounts hit wall after wall trying to get loans or investments to grow their businesses. Consider women-owned businesses. In developing countries like ours, over 70% of women-owned SMEs can't secure the financing they need. The result? A staggering 1.7 trillion with a T, gender credit gap. This isn't a loss for women. It's like inviting women to a grand economic banquet and handing them empty plates. By shutting out women entrepreneurs, the system leaves trillions in potential on the table. We must stop treating women's financial access as a side issue. It's one of the biggest economic opportunities of our time, waiting to be seized. And here is the kicker. Ghana is sitting on a gold mine, but unfortunately, half of the miners don't have the tools. Women here face the same financial roadblocks, from limited access to credit to outdated policies that keep them locked out of economic growth. This isn't just an issue of fairness. It's an economic own goal. Imagine the surge in business, jobs, and national growth if women had the funding they need to scale. The solution is simple. Stop seeing women as financial risks and start seeing us as the economic powerhouse that we truly are. It's not about handouts. It's about unlocking Ghana's full potential. Today, enough talk. It's time for action. We are moving from awareness to change. How do we redesign the financial system so that it's not just knocking on opportunities' door, so that women are not just walking on opportunities' door, but are actually walking through it fully funded and ready to thrive? In this session, I will lay out 10 key solutions. They will cover policy overhauls, innovative financing models, and a long overdue shift in investment mindsets. And let's be honest, closing the gap isn't just about fairness, it's about collective success. The talking stops now. The change starts here. Let's get to work. My first point, digital finance. This is where convenience meets independence. Digital finance is transforming how women access and control money. Gone are the days of waiting in long bank queues, filling out endless forms. Now, with just a mobile phone and a few taps, a woman can send money, save for the future, or get a loan, all without ever setting a foot in a bank. This shift isn't just about convenience, it's about independence. It's about opportunity. Consider this. About 2/3 of the world's 1.7 billion unbanked adults already have a mobile phone in their hands. That's like holding the keys to a bank vault but never unlocking the door. Until now. Technology is finally turning that key, tearing down the walls that have kept women financially excluded for too long. Historically, the top two barriers that kept especially women out of the formal financial system were clear-cut. Minisika midi baby account, I don't have the minimum balance. Bank ejeketro is too far away, the bank is too far away, I can't go and open the account. Mobile banking has essentially said, not a problem, no problemo, and obliterated both hurdles. With a mobile money account, there's no minimum balance required, and no one has to lose a day's work traveling to a distant branch. A bank, it's no longer a place where you go. If it's something you do anytime, anywhere. Ghana's story shows this revolution in action. A decade ago, only about 22% of Ghanaians had access to formal financial services. Today, thanks to the rise of mobile money, financial inclusion has actually skyrocketed. Roughly 68% of adults had an account by 2021, and this is up from 22% in 2011. And a recent survey puts basic access to financial services at an outstanding 96% of the adult population. Let's take MTN's Momo Pay, for example. This platform has changed the game for thousands of market women and small entrepreneurs across Ghana. No more fumbling with cash or losing customers because what on toast 2 cedis, I was 50 pesos. With Momo, you don't do that. No more fumbling for cash. Every payment can happen instantly via phone. Better yet, every transaction through services like Momo builds a digital track record, which can unlock access to bigger financial tools like loans or insurance down the line. That is what it looks like when women gain the power to control their financial destiny. Ghana's women aren't just joining the digital financial movement. We've actually gone ahead of the curve. Women account ownership in Ghana has jumped from 54% to 63% in just over 4 years, an increase driven largely by mobile money reaching those who banks have actually overlooked. Yet, access alone isn't enough. A mobile money wallet sitting on an idle phone is just an app. It has no power. Right now, many women use mobile money mainly for cash in and cash out transactions, essentially treating it as a digital cash box. But the real breakthrough happens when we move beyond these basics. True financial empowerment means using that digital account to save money securely, take out a microloan to grow a business, or buy insurance to protect against life's surprises, all at the touch of a button. In other words, we need to make sure that women not only join the digital financial system, but they actually thrive in it. What does this mean? This means designing services that encourage women to keep money in their accounts. It should encourage them to use it to pay bills, to build savings, and to plan for the future. Only then will digital finance live up to its promise of independence and opportunity. How do we get there? Countries leading the way in financial inclusion are doing a few things right, and I want to share a couple of these with you. And I believe as Ghana, we need to double down on these as well. The first of them, simple digital account opening or digital onboarding. These leverage digital IDs, are Ghana card, to simplify the KYC process so women can open accounts quickly and easily with minimal or no paperwork. No one should be kept out of the system because signing up was too complicated. The next point is connectivity for all. Expanding mobile coverage and internet access to every region is a must. Every woman, whether she's in Accra, Bonsaso, or Abuaso, should be able to use digital financial services on her phone. Affordable smartphones and data plans, digital literacy initiatives, and community agents can help bridge the connectivity gap. Ghana has already made some bold moves on many of these fronts, and continuing to do so will ensure that no woman is left out of this financial revolution. As digital finance spreads, let's make sure that when the history of this revolution is written, women aren't just included in the story. Let's make sure that women are leading this. My second point, financial education. Knowledge is indeed power. Now let's be real. Financial inclusion isn't just about access. It's about confidence and capability. Handing a woman a bank account or mobile wallet without equipping her with the knowledge to use it, it effectively is like, giving somebody a closed umbrella without explaining to them how to use it when it is raining. This is where financial education is crucial. Despite the progress digital finance has made in bringing women into the formal economy, a critical gap remains. Women are often less likely than men to trust or fully utilize digital financial services. We are generally more cautious than men when adopting digital financial services, and for good reason. That is why financial education needs to be woven into the very fabric of digital finance solutions, ensuring women feel informed, included, and actually in control. One effective approach to getting this done is through peer-led training. Peer power works. Women learn best from those who share their experiences. In India, for example, a non-profit flipped a workplace health model into peer lending financial training for women factory workers. The result? Smarter money moves, better banking skills, and real financial confidence. It turns out learning from a colleague beats top-down lectures every time. And who says finance has to be boring? Enter what I call edutainment, educational entertainment, edutainment. Using drama, storytelling, and relatable content to make financial learning stick. Imagine a financial education telenovela, and for those of us of the old days, an Osofodazi or Obra 2.0. I don't know what's latest today. I think it's I don't know what it is. Love in the triangle, kum cha-cha, something. I don't know what it is today. It shows how tuned out I am with what's happening today. But let's imagine such a telenovela packed with love lessons all woven into this drama. Financial education must be practical, engaging, and rooted in real life. Whether through peer mentorship, workplace seminars, or a binge-worthy series, because when women understand money, they own the future. My third point, building trust, the currency of financial inclusion. Trust isn't built overnight, and especially for us women, like I said, it does take us time. And when it comes to money, it's even harder to earn. Women aren't just going to jump headfirst into a new financial service without first feeling secure, informed, and in control. And this isn't hesitation, it's rational decision-making. For many women, financial choices aren't just about personal convenience. They are about safeguarding the well-being of their families. For women, money isn't just a number on the screen. It is school fees. It is medical bills. It is food on the table. It is long-term stability. We take our time. We take our time. A single misstep can ripple through the household. So, naturally, women are more cautious. This isn't reluctance. It's what I call strategic risk management. In digital finance, last-mile human touch points, agents, are game changers. Those friendly faces by your familiar hairdresser or your Kogari or Gombe seller aren't service reps. They are trust builders. They are tech translators and financial confidence boosters. A familiar agent can turn a confusing digital process into a casual chat or a hands-on demo. But let's take a step further. Financial inclusion isn't just about products, it's not just about apps, it's not just about technology. It's also about trust. Women need safe places to learn from those who've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, and lived to tell a tale. Women need a real, breathing role model who can say, yes, carry on. Yes, you can. Whether it is scaling a food business, expanding a school, or launching an ICT company across borders, women need to see success to believe it is possible. For us, seeing is actually believing. We need to experience it to know and to jump onto the bandwagon. That is why I call on financial institutions to step up. And I see the managing director of Absa Bank here, Edward. We need to step up. We need to create mentorship programs. We need to build women's business associations and form financial clubs. Because, like they say, if Muhammad, and in this instance, if Ohima won't go to the mountain, we must bring the mountain to Ohima. This is how we disband the Wache Nasa mentality I spoke about yesterday, which is playing it safe out of fear, or playing it small out of fear. This is how we turn women necessity entrepreneurs into opportunity entrepreneurs. Because when women see what is possible, they don't just jump forward. They actually take quantum leaps. The fourth point, and the fourth solution I'm proffering, we need to unlock capital with digital lending. For far too long, women entrepreneurs have faced endless hurdles in trying to secure loans from traditional banks. Cumbersome paperwork, Very long approval process. Sometimes it can take you between a month to 3 months to take a loan. And my credit officer says that if a customer is waiting for you for 3 months to take the loan from you, you need to think twice. Is he really a good customer? But that's the system. The approval processes are just a tad too long. And the collateral requirements. Women are unable to meet these. But a quiet revolution is underway. Digital lending is changing the game. Innovative peer-to-peer lending platforms and fintech leaders are cutting out the red tape and providing women with faster, more direct access to capital. Instead of waiting for weeks or sometimes months for a bank's decision, a woman entrepreneur can now go online, connect with investors or alternative lenders, present her business plan, and receive funding in a fraction of the time. Often, this comes with no collateral requirements, and neither does it come with any intimidating bank visits. Just a chance to grow her business based on her merits. In Kenya, where I currently live and work, Kopo Kopo is flipping the script on small business financing. Partnering with M-Pesa, it helps even the tiniest street vendor go digital. And after just 90 days of mobile transactions, boom, a cash advance lands, no paperwork, no credit scores, no collateral, and repayment as smooth as a fresh cup of Kenyan Maasai mixed tea. A small cut from daily sales, no stress, no debt traps. When business slows, repayments flex. When business booms, more capital is unlocked. It's finance that actually works for women entrepreneurs, not against them. A shopkeeper using M-Pesa for 3 months can restock, expand, and grow without ever stepping into a bank. We have something to learn from this as banks. Now, that is what we call financial inclusion with swagger. Ghana isn't watching the fintech revolution. We are actually keen participants. Companies like Jumo, Oze, MTN, and CDSPay are breaking barriers and reshaping access to finance. Take, for example, Ecobank Ghana's game-changing partnership with MTN and Jumo. They've already disbursed a staggering 25 million individual loans worth over 11 billion cedis. These bank fintech partnerships are powerful. They don't just provide capital, they help women to scale. A woman who starts with small digital loans and builds a strong credit history can transition to larger bank loans, unlocking new opportunities to expand, innovate, and transform her business. We can't stop here. A stronger digital lending ecosystem must put capital directly in the hands of women, and it must do this on the terms of women. Because when women access finance, they just don't grow businesses. They ignite economies. They create jobs and uplift communities. It's time to fund the future, and the future is women-led. My fifth point, the power of partnerships. Whether they are public-private or private-private, teamwork makes money flow. Ladies and gentlemen, if we want finance to work for women, Partnerships are the way forward. Whether it is public-private or private-private, when banks, fintechs, telcos, and governments team up, magic happens, literally. But here is the catch. These partnerships must have women at the center. They must work for women. If they don't, we are leaving billions on the table. Back to the M-Pesa story in Kenya. Kenya's M-Pesa, hailed as the gold standard of mobile money success. M-Pesa revolutionized financial inclusion, taking 96% of households from cash only to mobile money-powered economies. Then came democratized finance. Now, what about Ghana? Where is our M-Pesa Ghana? Where is our M-Pesa moment for women? I am happy to say that Ghana is making strides. The Ecobank MTN Jumo Alliance has already empowered thousands of women. Nearly 80% of the women beneficiaries had no prior credit history. That's real financial inclusion in action. But we need more, bigger, and bolder partnerships that prioritize women from the start, not as an afterthought. We need more of these bold partnerships, and we need to ensure that they put women first. The real question is not just when the next bank telco fintech partnership will launch in Ghana. No, that's not the question. The question is how we ensure that these collaborations deliberately prioritize women's inclusion. The future of finance is digital, yes, but it is more about, it must also be inclusive and women-centered. Financial inclusion, it's not the finish line. It is just the starting point. It's time to move beyond inclusion and deliver real financial empowerment for women. Because when women thrive, entire economies rise. Her money, her power. Let's make it happen. My 6th point. Smart risk-taking. This fuels women's financial power. Let's address a new critical piece of the puzzle. Risk. And I'm not talking about the kind of risk entrepreneurs take in starting a business. I'm talking about the kind of risk that we financial institutions cite as the reason for not lending to women. The truth is, the real risk is not lending to women. When women lack capital, businesses that could have thrived remain small or informal. Conversely, when women have access to capital, businesses actually expand. But let's be honest, we banks, we still need an extra push. We need something to align us to revise our traditional risk assessment models. And that is where credit guarantee schemes and de-risking partnerships come in. Initiatives like the African Guarantee Fund and the Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa by the African Development Bank are actively changing the equation in lending to women. Here is how they work. Let me explain this simply. These programs share a portion of the lending risk with the financial institution. In practical terms, that means banks are more willing to approve loans to women-owned businesses because they have somebody standing behind them. They have a guarantee fund that will cover a portion of the loss in case the loan defaults. With this support, banks can offer women entrepreneurs better terms, lower interest rates, longer repayment periods, and reduce collateral requirements. I dare say it gives us even more boldness to finance startups, something we don't usually want to touch with a 10-foot pole. In essence, these schemes remove the excuses and replace them with opportunities. And this isn't just theory. It's actually working in practice. In Ghana, for example, the African Guarantee Fund has provided over 35 million in credit guarantees to local banks lending to small businesses. And what is more, this guarantee provides 75% credit cover. It is 50% for men. But if it's a woman-owned or woman-led businesses, that coverage ratio is 75%. This mix has made it easier for those banks to extend credit to women who would otherwise have been deemed unbankable. Meanwhile, the AFAWA initiative aims to unlock financing for women-led businesses across Africa. That goal, targeted for 2026, reflects a massive scale of ambition, and it is backed by concrete action. Since its launch a few years ago, AFAWA has actually facilitated over $1 billion to African women businesses through local banks across the continent, with more on the way. Such efforts show that when institutions come together with the right mindset, with the right mechanisms, women entrepreneurs can get the capital they deserve. So my women here, I don't know where you bank. Is it Ecobank? Is it ABSA? Which bank do you bank with? When you get there, ask, do they have a guarantee scheme? Because if they do, it reduces your collateral requirements. And here is an announcement. The newly launched Elevate by Ecobank 2.0 gives you $50,000 collateral free. $50,000 to women-owned and women-led businesses. So walk into any Ecobank branch if you're a woman-owned business and ask them about the Elevate 2.0 program and see how we can make your business scale. Money alone won't cut it, though. Access to credit must come with access to knowledge. That is why guarantee schemes also invest in training. They invest in mentorship and business skills to help women not just borrow, but succeed. The IFC Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Initiative has proven that this works. When women got capital and training, their businesses scaled. They were able to secure bigger loans, and they attracted investors. They were able to break growth barriers that once seemed insurmountable. It's a powerful demonstration that blending finance with education has a multiplier effect. So the question isn't, should we invest in women? It's how fast can we scale up? Banks, governments, and fintechs must build an ecosystem where women don't just access finance, but where women thrive in that system. Imagine a world where a woman walks into a bank with her business potential, not land titles, not collateral, just with her business potential. A world where she gets a loan at a fair rate, along with a breathing, living mentor who would hold her hand through her journey, or an online toolkit to give her the knowledge to grow and succeed. That is not just inclusion, that's economic transformation. Let's build that. My 7th point, green ventures, turning our everyday hustles as women into big profits. Now, let's turn to a new frontier of opportunity, and it's relatively new. The intersection of women's economic empowerment and sustainable green growth. There is money to be made in sustainability, and women are already doing much of the work, whether it is cooking for their families, farming small plots, or protecting their environments. The challenge, however, is how we turn these everyday hustles into profitable, scalable ventures. Enter carbon credits, an unexpected but potentially brilliant opportunity for women entrepreneurs in areas like clean cooking and climate-smart agriculture. Think of carbon credits as sika enam from air money, literally earning income for reducing pollution. And the concept is simple. If you take actions that reduce greenhouse emissions, for example, by switching from a traditional wood fire stove to a clean cook stove or a solar cooker, or by planting trees or using climate-smart farming methods, you generate carbon credits that companies or governments are willing to buy to offset their own emissions. In other words, you actually as a woman get paid for contributing to a cleaner environment. The need for cleaner cooking solutions is very massive. The World Bank estimates that around 2.6 billion people still rely on polluting stoves and open fires, costing trillions in healthcare, lost productivity, and environmental damage. Women alone lose a whopping $800 billion yearly just by gathering firewood. Time that could fuel education, jobs, and economic growth. But here is the twist. Clean cooking isn't just a health fix. It's a financial win. Switching from charcoal to LPG or solar cookers slashes fuel costs. It improves health and even earns carbon credits that women can sell for extra income. Scale that up, and we are talking real big money, cleaner air, and more freedom for women. And what I'm talking about is not theory. It's actually happening today. In Kenya, Ben Manufacturing is turning clean cooking into a money-making venture. Their stoves slash smoke by 80%. It cuts fuel costs by 60% and generates carbon credits that bring in revenue. Women using them save money, breathe cleaner air, and even earn from carbon markets. Ghana is stepping up too. The transformative cook stove activity will distribute 180,000 clean stoves, benefiting 750,000 Ghanaians, mostly women and children. Not only does this improve health and household savings, but thanks to a groundbreaking deal with Switzerland, rural women in Ghana will get paid for reducing carbon emissions. Melanin Capital, a standout in Ecobank's FinTech Challenge, is turning carbon finance into banking power for women entrepreneurs. Partnering with Ecobank, they fund women-led businesses in clean energy and sustainable agriculture, and then help them monetize this impact. How? by turning carbon reductions into revenue streams. A woman distributing solar lamps or biochar equipment isn't just running a business. She's creating carbon credits that a bank can actually count on as an asset. Melanin Capital helps turn these reductions into revenue streams, which improves the business's bankability. This isn't just climate action. It's financial empowerment through climate action. Women are already leading in household energy, clean cooking, and climate-smart farming. It's time they got paid for it. Green finance, whether microloans for solar panels or climate bonds, must put women first, because her money, her power, can also mean her climate leadership. My 8th point, as I gradually get to a close: orange is the new green. Financing women for a sustainable future through green bonds. What do I mean? We have seen how green bonds have mobilized billions for climate-friendly products. But we are recognizing that what is good for women is also good for the planet. Enter green bonds, a bold new financial innovation designed to move money where it matters most, into the hands of women. Think of orange bonds as gender-lens investments with a mission. Just as green bonds channel investments into environmental products, orange bonds channel investments into women's empowerment. Why orange? Because orange is the color of the Sustainable Development Goal number 5, which is gender equality. The Orange Bond Initiative, launched in 2022, aims to tap the vast global bond market and redirect capital towards gender equality. The goal set out by this initiative is to mobilize at least $10 billion by 2030 for women-led and gender-inclusive projects and empower 100 million women and girls worldwide by that year. And what I'm talking about is not theory. It's happening live, direct, real today. Nuveen's Global Gender Equality Bond funds companies advancing women. Last year, WLB5 made history as the world's first orange bond, unlocking institutional capital for microfinance, social enterprises, and programs that uplift women. And what was the impact? Women launching businesses, improving homes, and funding their children's education, all fueled by gender-smart investments. But let's ask the big question for us here. Where is Ghana's orange bond moment? Imagine if our banks, pension funds, and governments came together to create an orange bond specifically to fund women-led businesses. We have a growing domestic capital market. What if a portion of it were directed via an orange bond to provide low-interest loans or equity to women in agri, women in tech startups, or women-led manufacturers? This could catalyze a wave of women-driven growth. It could be structured with the support from development partners to reduce risk, making it attractive to local investors like insurance companies or even international impact investors looking for gender-lens opportunities in Africa. And hush, hush. Sources tell me a gender bond is in the works within the Ecobank group. I won't tell you which affiliate, but it's going to be soon launched. As Ecobank, we are pace setters. Orange bonds are about changing both the game and the narrative. It's time Ghana taps into this. Perhaps the next big bond issued by our government or banks should be orange. We could earmark proceeds to, say, a woman's SME fund, or to expanding credit lines for women in renewable energy, or to building women's vocational and technical skills, which pays off by enhancing productivity. The opportunities and the possibilities are numerous. Orange is officially the new green. It's the new currency of change. I urge both the public and private sectors to join forces to create and invest in these game-changing bonds, because when we fund women-led businesses, we fuel economies and we drive real impact. Now to my penultimate point, and it's a call to action. I sort of make a trimiankasa because I work as a banker. It's a call to bankers, and it is time for banks to bet on women. If financial institutions are serious about growth, innovation, and impact, they need to stop treating women like an afterthought. No more pink-washed products. No more CSR charity mindset. Women aren't a niche market. They are a powerhouse customer base waiting to be served on their own terms. Women entrepreneurs aren't asking for favors. They want access. They want opportunity and financial tools that actually work. So what's the move? Intentional action, smarter strategies, fewer assumptions. Banks, you hold the keys to unlocking women's economic power. Use them. And let me enumerate a number of ways we can do that. Number one, stop assuming. Start understanding women as customers. Forget outdated stereotypes. Women aren't just seeking loans. They crave financial partnerships rooted in trust and value. Research shows women are meticulous decision makers who value transparency and relationships. Yet many banks offer generic solutions, or worse, patronizing advice. Savvy institutions go beyond basic services, providing advisory support, networking, and mentorships tailored to diverse women's needs, from market traders to tech entrepreneurs. This requires leadership commitment and actionable strategies, not just token gestures. Take Elevate by Ecobank, for example. $200 million in loans disbursed, $700 million in deposits mobilized, between 90,000 to 150 jobs created across Africa, spanning sectors like education, agribusiness, hospitality, retail, and distributorship. This isn't charity. It's smart business. Number two, data, 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 and banks actually using that data. In business, we trust data. To serve women better, banks must gather and analyze gender disaggregated data. How many loans go to women? Where do they drop off in the credit process? Which repayment methods work for them? Such insights are invaluable. Studies indicate that women often repay loans more reliably than men. Recognizing this isn't ethical. It's profitable. The third thing we can do as banks is to encourage discouraged borrowers. Many qualified women don't apply for credit fearing denial, a phenomenon known as discouraged borrowers. This represents a massive lost opportunity for women and lenders. Banks should proactively engage with women's business networks. We must host workshops demystifying the loan process. We must offer credit coaching to build confidence. We must develop pathways from microloans to substantial SME funding. Instead of wondering where the women borrowers are, banks should ask how to empower more women. If Mohammed won't come to the mountain has to move to Mohammed. We must move to those women businesses and scale them and help them to grow. The fourth point we must take on as banks: put more women at the table and in the boardroom. To attract more women customers, banks need more women decision makers, period. Data shows that increased gender diversity in leadership correlates with better bank performance. This isn't about diversity. It's about integrating women's perspectives into decision making at all levels. By embracing these strategies, financial institutions can unlock the full potential of women, driving transformative economic growth. And now to my last point, a call to action to policy makers. No more gender-neutral policies. It's time for bold action. Let's get another thing straight. There is no such thing as a gender-neutral financial policy. It doesn't exist. Policies that do not explicitly consider women's financial needs almost always default to a male-centric system. And that is why we are still having the same conversation about financial inclusion in the 21st century. The truth is, if regulators and policymakers do not take intentional and deliberate action, the gender gap in finance will not close itself. It's time for concrete, unapologetic interventions that level the playing field and put women at the center of financial policy. And let me give a few tips as to how this can be achieved. Borrow what works. Don't reinvent the wheel. Over 50 countries have cracked financial inclusion. Mother Ghana, let's catch up. Simplified KYC rules work wonders. Nigeria's tiered KYC lets market women open accounts with just a name and a birth date. India's digital ID-linked bank account added 200 million low-income women to the system. Ghana, mobile money got flexible KYC, but traditional banks still lag behind. It's time to change that. Number 2, use data and make it gender smart. What gets measured gets managed. What gets measured gets done. Without gender disaggregated data, financial inclusion is just wishful thinking. Regulators must move beyond vague reports. We need real numbers that show how women are actually engaging with financial services. Who is saving? Who is borrowing? At what rates? Are women paying higher interest rates? Are products truly designed for women? These are the questions that we need to ask and answer. Thankfully, the Bank of Ghana is stepping up. It's now collecting gender-based financial data and rolling out a new online regulatory and analytics surveillance system, a game changer that will track financial behavior by gender and push smarter policies. Data isn't just numbers, it's power. It's the new oil. And if we want finance to work for women, we must track, we must analyze, and after, we must act. We need to set clear targets. Financial inclusion without targets means no progress. The best financial inclusion plans don't rely on luck. and Chacha. They set bold targets and hit them. Nigeria learned this the hard way. In 2012, they launched an ambitious strategy but forgot one tiny detail: a specific goal for women. By 2018, they had an "oh no, we missed half the population" moment. Lesson learned. They went back and fixed it. Ghana, on the other hand, got ahead of the game. In 2012, the government set up an 85% inclusion goal for women by 2023 under the Digital Financial Services Policy. Did we hit it? Not quite. The latest Global Findex 2021 puts Ghanaian women's inclusion at 63%. Better, but still off the targets. The lesson? Targets matter, but so do follow through and course corrections. If Ghana wants to close the gap, we need to double down on what works, rethink what doesn't, and move beyond numbers to real impact. The fourth thing that policymakers should do: dismantle legal barriers. Ghana's constitution supports gender equality, yet deep-rooted social cultural norms still block women from finance. It's time to pull those barriers apart, strand by strand, until they are gone. The fifth point: get mobile phones into the hands of women. Digital finance means nothing if women can't get online. Smartphones aren't just for selfies and TikTok dances, no. They are also the gateway to banking, credit, and economic independence. Yet, too many women can't afford them or the data to stay connected. Let's look at Kenya's Anan-Ankomah, a total game changer. Their pay-as-you-go model makes owning a smartphone as easy as buying bananas at the market. Small payments, no crazy loan requirements, and it's working. 1 million plus people in sub-Saharan Africa have benefited from this model. From advertising on Instagram to selling on WhatsApp and to accepting digital payments, these women aren't just buying phones, they are unlocking financial freedom. So Ghana, what's the holdup? Make smartphones affordable. Partner with telcos for pay-as-you-go models, financing models like Anan-Ankomah has done. If we can finance fridges, we of course can finance phones. Let's make data cheaper. Let's push for women-focused affordable data plans so financial inclusion isn't buried under high-priced internet bills. And let's make data skills a priority. Teach women how to bank, teach them how to invest, and teach them how to do business online. Owning a phone isn't enough. Knowing how to use that phone to unlock the potential in communities. You want high value? You want loyal clients? Fund more women. To fintech disruptors, if your mobile app still requires a woman to visit a branch to finalize transaction, hear me, you are disrupting nothing. You are just selling an expensive bus ticket to bureaucracy. Fix it. To researchers and thought leaders, we don't need another study telling us what we already know. Less documentation, more action. To women, let's invest in each other. Let's invest in each other. The gender financing gap isn't a mystery. It's a system failure that can and must be fixed. Banks, create gender-smart financial products. policymakers, embed gender disaggregated data into regulations. Investors realize that funding women is necessary. It's business. I don't speak from theory. I speak from 32 years of lived experience, from Ghana to Gambia, from Togo to 18 countries in Central, Eastern, and Southern Africa. I have seen what works. I have seen what happens when women get the capital they need, and I have seen what happens when they don't. Let's stop talking and let's start doing. When women win, we all win. When women have money, they don't just spend it, they multiply it. And when finance finally works for women, economies don't grow, they thrive. Her money, her power, let's fund the future now. Now a word to my bold, brilliant women in business. Let me speak directly to the young, up-and-coming women, those who are nurturing a dream, those who have not started a business but are yearning to start one, and also to those who are running thriving businesses. Like I said yesterday, wacheno ensayo bebre woho. Take that bold step. Get out of your comfort zone. You are stronger than you think. Seek advice. Seek help. Don't be afraid to fail. Playing it safe often means playing it small. It's time to shift from being a necessity entrepreneur to becoming an opportunity entrepreneur. Think bigger and you will go further. And to my all-time favorite mantra, women, when others sit, stand. When others are standing, be outstanding. And when others are outstanding, be that standard. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Let's continue acknowledging her with a louder applause, please. We thank you very much as well, our distinguished lecturer, Mrs. Anan-Ankomah. You have really educated us. I have taken a lot of cues from this lecture, and I believe you have too. One thing she emphasized, which thrilled me very well, is the fact that women repay loans better than. I want to end it here, please. Let's give her another round of applause. We will now invite our chairperson, the Vice Chancellor, to deliver her closing remarks. And I want to give you a piece of advice. If you heard nothing at all from the lecture, listen carefully to the Vice Chancellor. Let's invite Professor Nana Bapia-Amfo to the podium.
Thank you very much, Director, Public Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, that was outstanding. For the past 2 years, we've been treated to thought-provoking lectures. Lectures that have set us all thinking. Whether you are a banker, whether you are academic, whether you are an entrepreneur, and especially if you are a woman, it's really set us all thinking. You know, you don't very often get a theorist and a practitioner in one person, but over the past 2 days, that's exactly what we have had. Certainly, Mrs. Anan-Ankomah has demonstrated that she's adept at the theory, she knows the theory, but even more importantly, she's a great practitioner. She has shared with us through her knowledge and through her wealth of experience, through decades of practicing as a banker on this continent. Yesterday, she cracked the code, and today she gave us the practical solutions. She listed them, 10 of them. I will not attempt, to go over all of these, or even to summarize. When an astute economist, banker, finance person like her has spoken, as a linguist, you don't, attempt to summarize. But I just want to share some thoughts. I think that all that she told us, we can put them in 3 categories. Number 1 is digital inclusion. That was a theme that ran through her lectures over these past 2 days. Digital inclusion. That if we want to change the story for women financing, it means that we have to work at our digital inclusion, ensuring that women have access to credit, digital lending, ensuring that women will be able to sit in the comfort of their homes, of their offices, of their workplaces, in the markets, wherever they find themselves, and get access to banking services, ensuring that we don't make this elaborate, we make it affordable, and we make it accessible. The next thing that I picked was about partnerships. If you're going to make finance work for women, we need to work in partnership. This is not something that a single institution can do, nor a single individual can do. There's a lot that, she said that pertain to the banking sector. Of course, that's where she's coming from. So she was speaking to her own. The banking sector has to do a lot, and so do fintech companies. And I even think that there is also a lot for institutions like mine, for a research institution, a university like mine. Mrs. Anan-Ankomah, you told us about what the Bank of Ghana is doing with regard to gathering data. I'm not too sure that they have to go through the trouble of doing all of that. I'm sure that if they visited our institutions, if they went to ISE, if they went to the economics department, if you went to the business school, if they went to the sociology department, there will be lots of data that will be there regarding which relates to women finance issues, how they have been excluded, how they can access finance in a more accessible and women-friendly way. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we need to work. When we work in partnership, we will not go through that trouble of reinventing the wheel, but bringing together our resources to make finance work for women. And the third and the last thing that I picked has to do with training and mentorship. And so she said that it's not
with us, Emeritus Professor Ivan Adai-Mensah, Emeritus Professor CNB Tego, and Emeritus Professor Ernest Aiti. We also have 2 of our former registrars. Mr. Joseph Mafubudu is here with us. Mrs. Mercy Hizel-Ashia is also here with us. And we have a former director of the Public Affairs Directorate, Mrs. Stella Amwa, with us here. The lecturer mentioned the managing director of Absa Bank, Mr. Edward Nate Botri. Can we see you? Thank you very much for joining us. And we also have the spouse and family of our distinguished lecturer, Anan-Ankomah, and his family. Thank you very much. At this point, Madam Chairperson, it is my singular honor to invite our registrar, Mrs. Emilia J. Mensah, to make introductory remarks and to take over proceedings of the special congregation. Please let's welcome Mrs. Emilia J. Mensah to the podium.
Thank you very much, Director of Public Affairs. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to part 2 of this evening's ceremonies, which is a special congregation to award an honorary degree to our distinguished Aggrey-Fraser-Guggisberg lecturer. The Chancellor of the University of Ghana will preside over today's special congregation, and it is my pleasure to introduce her. Mrs. Mary Chinri-Hesse is the first female Chancellor of the University of Ghana. She has had distinguished careers in Ghana's Civil Service of the United Nations, and also the first woman to be appointed as resident coordinator of the UN systems. She served as a Deputy Director General of the International Labour Organization, and she's an important voice on economic development issues, a defender of human and women's rights, and an advocate for African imperatives. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome the Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Mrs. Mary Chinri-Hesse, to deliver her opening remarks.
Lady Registrar, thank you very much for the introduction. Members of the University Council, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Provost, former officials of the University, Deans and Directors, our distinguished awardee, employees and students of the University, members of the Diplomatic Corps, alumni, invited. It is my pleasure to preside over the second part of today's ceremony, during which we will celebrate the achievements of the distinguished alumni of the university and the 2025 Aggrey-Fraser-Guggisberg Memorial Lecture, Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah, by awarding her an honorary doctorate degree from the University of Ghana. Mrs. Anan-Ankomah has made significant contributions to her field of endeavor. She has exhibited leadership, resilience, and innovation, and by so doing, serves as an inspiration to younger generations to strive for greatness. Over the past 2 years, 2 days, Mrs. Anan-Ankomah has delivered thought-provoking lectures on the theme, Her Money, Her Power, Making Finance Work for Women, and has taken us through the structural and societal barriers to women's financial autonomy, as well as strategies on how to break through these barriers towards achieving financial equity for women. Madam, you are not just a banker. You are brilliant. And on top of all that, you are truly beautiful. An honorary degree is a recognition of excellence, achievement, and contribution to society, an acknowledgement of a person's lifetime dedication to their field of work, and an appreciation of their efforts towards improving the lives of others. Mrs. Anan-Ankomah has certainly done all these and more, and it is my pleasant duty, therefore, to declare this congregation open for the award of an honorary doctorate degree to this special lady. I will now invite the Vice Chancellor to present the candidate for the award of the honorary doctorate degree. Madam, you have the floor.
Lady Chancellor, I, Professor Nana Aba Apiamfo, Vice Chancellor, present to you Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah, whom the University Council has approved for the award of an honorary doctorate degree in the category Alumni of Whom We Are Proud. Mrs. Anan-Ankomah has excelled in her endeavors, and her many outstanding accomplishments make her an exceptional ambassador of the University of Ghana. Additionally, she has delivered the thought-provoking 2025 Aggrey-Fraser-Guggisberg Memorial Lectures. I therefore pray for the conferment of an honorary doctorate degree of the University of Ghana on her.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor. We will now have the reading of the citation, the conferment of the degree by the Chancellor, and the ceremonial robing. I now call on Dr. Priscilla Chumesi-Barfo to kindly step forward to read the citation.
Thank you, Madam Registrar. Citation for Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah. Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah, distinguished banker, visionary leader, and advocate for women financial empowerment. You hold a Bachelor of Arts and Master of Business Administration degrees awarded by the University of Ghana, and are a Fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. With over 3 decades of banking experience, you have held senior leadership roles across Africa, playing a pivotal role in shaping the continent's financial sector. You have risen to become Managing Director of Ecobank Kenya and Regional Executive for Central, Eastern, and South Africa at Ecobank Transnational, in which position you have overseen operations in 18 countries. As a champion for women in business, You have played pivotal roles in various initiatives supporting women-led businesses across Africa. Your passion for financial inclusion extends beyond corporate spaces. You serve as a role model and mentor to many young women. You are the founder of She Blossoms, a foundation that provides financial support, educational materials, and mentorship to young girls. With your masterful delivery of the 2025 Aggrey-Fraser-Guggisberg Memorial Lectures on the theme, Her Money, Her Power, Making Finance Work for Women, you have provided important, insightful, challenging, thought-provoking lectures that women in businesses are to be compelled with great argument and financial ecosystem that truly works for women. On that, you have advocated for access, inclusion, and sustainable growth. You are truly an inspirational leader, and your work and passion motivates young people in Ghana and beyond. Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah, in recognition of your distinguished service in international banking and for delivering the thought-provoking 2025 Aggrey-Fraser-Guggisberg Memorial Lectures, your alma mater, the University of Ghana, is pleased to confer on you the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. Aiko.
No, this way, I want them to see. Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah, by the authority vested in the Chancellor, I, Mary Chinwe Hesse, Chancellor of the University of Ghana, in recognition of your distinguished service within the field of banking and finance, and as an alumna of whom the University of Ghana is exceptionally proud, I'm pleased to confer on you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
We invite our provost and pro-vice chancellors to join our distinguished lecturer for a group photograph, after which the family will join her for another group photograph. Thank you very much. Please resume your seats.
Until a couple of months ago, my eye had seen, my ear had not heard, and neither had my heart and mind conceived of even the remotest possibility of me standing here today to receive this honor from my alma mater, the only University of Ghana. This was not on the cards when I first entered here in 1987, left in 1990, returned in 2000, and left again in 2002. As far as I've been concerned, my attendance and interactions with this esteemed institution were just to obtain one of the best educations on this planet to equip me for my work. I did not think, even in my wildest dreams, to the extent that I even remember dreaming about this, that this great institution would bestow on me this high honor for simply doing what the school taught and trained me to do. And for this, Madam Chancellor, Madam Vice Chancellor, I'm extremely grateful. I dedicate this honor to the Eternal Father, my Lord and my Master, strong to save, whose arm hath bound the restless wave, who bids the mighty ocean deep its own appointed limits keep, and who hears us when we cry to him. Uyo nyame ampa, won sakrada, uye mresante hine, wutim dada, na wahene tu rinchada. And adia waye esumbupi, Megwan kobia, megwan shefu, metna Yehovah fie, wotu me puno, ewa matamfu ani, wodingo kron kron, wodia fo mi trimo, na mi kruana. I am a buso, Jienia, Doye, Ebedi Machida, Metna, Yehovah fie. I also dedicate this honor to my lovely parents, Da and Ma. I know you are smiling and cheering me on as your little girl battles to achieve dreams that inspire many girls on this continent, that with hard work, dedication, discipline, passion, fortitude, we can be the best that we can be and achieve all we aspire to be. I further dedicate this honor to my Anan-Ankomah huddle, eloquence, or let me say quarrel of lawyers. I hear that is a collective noun for a group of lawyers. Kojoanan, Mami Abnani Akwa, Papa Kweku Ankoma, Ohima Akosua Chumesiwa, the indefatigable legal quartet, quadruplet or quad, as the Gen Zs amongst them would say. I have watched your individual journeys to where you are in this life, and I'm both proud and humbled to have been part of it. I guess you compared the life of a mommy banker to the life of a daddy lawyer and unanimously voted to become lawyers. To their cheerleader, my biggest cheerleader on earth, speech writer, editor, reviewer, music director, my own Ankomah, who is always pushing me beyond my comfort zone and teasing me and fighting with me. To Ace, whom I first met in 1984, married in 1994, and who has, while building his own career, also held the fort as I journeyed between Accra, Bujumbura, Banjul, Lome, and now Nairobi, and across the African continent, gathering what he calls worthless African air miles. Medasi Kojo. Yeah, we are true no pa. And you are the only one I know who carries the term with pride and swag. I also dedicate this to my 4 sisters, Sewa, who is here with us, Lucy, Owusua, and Amajimine, and their families. I'm glad to be a part of you as you are a part of me. Also to the Ankomah family that I married into, James, my father-in-law who I didn't meet, and Patience, my mother-in-law who has passed on. My sisters-in-law, thank you for accepting me and making me your sister from another mother. I dedicate this honor to my Joyful Wave family, with whom I cut my music and ministry teeth, and several of whom have inspired me along my path. And to my A1 Couples Fellowship, the absolutely unrestrained and crazy bunch of couples who put the word fun in the phrase having fun. To all the young girls across Africa who aim not just to shatter the glass ceiling, but to eliminate it completely, I dedicate this to you. Know that it is possible. I also dedicate this to my professional colleague Ecobankers, both past and present, and thank you for entrusting me, a woman, with the largest region in the Ecobank group and with some of your most sensitive and important portfolios. I hope and I know that I have lived up to the hope and the trust and the expectation that you have had in me. And finally, to the various other organizations that have recognized my work over the years, including Anganza, that elected me as Africa's most influential female in finance for 2024. Thank you, Asante Sana. To conclude, my alma mater, the only university of Ghana, I willingly, wholeheartedly, and unreservedly accept this honor. And my challenge to us all who have graced this occasion is this: when others pause, let us move. When others move, let us lead. When others lead, let us inspire. And while the others inspire, let's set the bar. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Anan-Ankomah. We are so proud of you, and we are grateful to you as well for accepting this honor. I would now call on the Vice Chancellor to I now call on the Vice Chancellor to present a gift to our awardee on behalf of the university.
So as you can see, this is an Adinkra symbol which represents leadership and authority. Josephine symbolizes these. We have seen her in leadership. We've seen her grown in leadership in the banking and finance sector on the continent, and she certainly exudes the authority that comes with it.
It's now my pleasure to call on Madam Chancellor to dissolve the special congregation.
Vice Chancellor, our distinguished awardee, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the accomplishments of Mrs. Josephine Anan-Ankomah remind us that with perseverance, dedication, and hard work, we can achieve remarkable things. There are no limits to what we can accomplish when we dare to dream and have the determination to turn these dreams into reality. Mrs. Anan-Ankomah, you have joined the list of distinguished persons honored by the university. And I say so confidently because I was the first product female of the university to receive this prestigious award. Of course, many, many years ago, as you can see from my age, you have truly joined a distinguished group. And I am certain that you will continue to be a true ambassador of the university. We also recognize the responsibility that comes with such recognition. And I am confident that this award will serve as further motivation for you to reach even greater heights and to continue to inspire others to work hard and achieve great things as well. Each of us has a duty to pursue excellence and make a meaningful difference in the world. And it is my prayer that today's ceremony will inspire us all to strive to do so. As we end today's special congregation, I would like to express my appreciation to all who have worked hard towards the success of this ceremony. To all our invited guests, alumni and friends of the university, we always appreciate your presence and participation in university events. Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege and duty as Chancellor of the University of Ghana to declare today's special congregation dissolved. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Madam Chancellor. We will give her another round of applause, please. She's really done well by joining us this evening. We've been sitting for long. We've come to the end, but please, I see the family has a bouquet to present. I will invite them to do this quickly, and then we prepare to move out of here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Madam Chancellor was accompanied by His Excellency Ray Soa, immediate past High Commissioner of Ghana to Canada. Can you give us a wave? Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We extended invitations to a lot of senior high schools, but Achimota responded, and they are here. Achimota, give us a wave. We are very appreciative. You've really demonstrated your links to the Aggrey-Fraser-Guggisberg Memorial Lectures, and we are very grateful. Can we see Ecobank Ghana officials here? Can you give us a wave, please? Ecobank Ghana. We really appreciate this. Thank you very much. We appreciate you all. We are thankful to you all. On behalf of Madam Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, management of the university, we thank you for responding to our call, both those here and those joining us virtually. We are really, really thankful. God bless you all. We will just take one announcement. In fact, one series of announcements. That's the order of refreshments. UG students will take refreshments at the AA Kwapon Quadrangle, the forecourt of the Great Hall. Achimota students will sit in here. Your refreshments will be brought to you. We invite our invited guests, together with our former officials, to join our members of convocation and the platform party at the Vice Chancellor's Lodge for refreshments, together with the family of our distinguished lecturer as well. Now for the order of recession, after the university anthem, we'll remain standing for the platform party to recess, and the rest of us will follow. At this point, I invite us all to kindly rise for the university anthem. Please find the lyrics on page 26 of the brochure. Please let's remain standing as the platform party recesses.